What's up, everybody? John Eric Poli here with My MMA News, and today's guest will be fighting Maycee Barber at UFC San Antonio. That fight date is March 25th. Always a pleasure to be joined by today's guest, Andrea Lee. Andrea, nice to see you again. It's been a minute since we did one of these, so we're looking forward to today's conversation. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. And yeah, it has been a little bit. I can't believe how much time has passed since my last fight.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it's been, if I have this marked down right, 10 months since the last time that you last fought. So just what's life been like the last 10 months? What have you been up to? And I'm sure you have obviously been working hard every day building up to this fight here.
I have been. Shortly after my fight, once I healed from, I had like a slight concussion from my last fight. So, I had like some dizzy spells or whatever. So I let that heal up before I really got back into the swing of things, getting hit in the head and stuff. But I went back to training, and I was wrestling like 3 days a week, and I've been doing that religiously, leading up to this fight and getting all of my training in. So it's not like I have stopped or taken any time off, because I really haven't, other than just that time to heal. But I've been working and I've been training, for the past 9 months religiously.
Now, you mentioned about the concussion there. It's funny, obviously, the sport, as everybody knows, is a contact sport, but we never really hear about
Yeah.
concussions super much in it. I'm sure a lot of fighters have obviously had them over the years here. They just don't get as like reported as much. As what was that like going through all of that there? Because that could be obviously a very scary thing to go through. You mentioned dizzy spells and everything.
Yeah, and really it was just because some of those shots that she landed, caught me in the back of my head, and I believe those were the ones that really did the damage as far as giving me the concussion. So I remember standing up between rounds, or one of the rounds, and trying to walk back to my corner, and I remember saying like, "Oh, I'm like dizzy, or I don't feel good," or something like that. But it lasted for a period of a couple of weeks off and on, and then it ended up just being more vertigo, I think, sort of. It was the concussion, and then I ended up having some vertigo issues, and now everything's fine. So all is good. I just made sure that I didn't spar for a good little bit, but I still trained. I still got my grappling in, and I got my pad work, and I still worked hard. I just didn't get hit as much. So.
And with that last fight too, when that's going on, I guess how much does that have an effect on the performance there too? I'm sure that obviously it's not fun to be dizzy anytime you're doing it, anything really. Never mind you're in there in a cage having a fist fight going on and you're having dizzy spells.
Um, it wasn't, but it was one of those things that kind of like went away between the minute, that from sitting there to recovery, or yeah, from sitting in that minute to recover. By the time that I stood up, going into the round, it had already gone away. So the only thing that I guess really hindered me was my conditioning at the time, and I was pretty exhausted.
Yeah. No, I got you there. And I guess now, all right, that's all behind you. You're all healed up. You're all ready to go. Just how excited are you now after a 10-month layoff to get back inside the octagon again?
Yeah, I'm eager to get back in there. 10 months is a good amount of time, between fights, and I want to be fighting more than that. But it's just I really take concussion seriously, So I'm not one of those that like to, spar and bang on top of a concussion that I know is there. Some fighters do that, but I take them very serious. So I thought I should give myself enough time to recover, and now I'm just eager and excited and happy to get back in there.
All right. Well, obviously everybody's super excited to see you fight again here. And I guess just one other thing that I want to ask before we dive into the specifics of this upcoming fight, and this is a big congratulations to you here. I did see, I believe during the last month, or was it during this month? Anyway, fairly recently, UFC Fight Pass was sending out a thing at the top 30 women throughout UFC history so far, and they ranked you number 27. So I'm assuming that has to be a pretty big honor for you, right?
It is. I'm extremely honored, to have been named, one of the top 30. I want to continue to make a better name for myself. I'd like to be higher up on that list. But I guess we'll see where I am, and within I guess by next year. I don't know if that's something that they're going to do every year or how often they're going to do it, but we'll see. I'm gonna do my best to climb that ladder and make a better name.
And climbing that ladder starts on March 25th. Let's get into the details now on this fight. Training camp, I know you're starting to put the final touches on it. You're actually doing this interview from the home gym right now. So just how's camp been?
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of training sessions here, but I also go over to Elite Combat and I get a lot of my MMA training over there with Victoria. I have another girl who's been coming in. Her name's Carly. She's been giving me some good work, giving me some good looks. And Tony's been helping me out tremendously. And then, of course, my coaches, Brent, a strength and conditioning coach, Chad. Just everybody who's been working with me has really been helping me out. And I've been being pushed, really like day in and day out. I couldn't hope for anything better.
Now, typically, whenever I interview a fighter, usually the process kind of is, right, they wrap up fight or training camp wherever they're at, get on a plane, fly to the location, start the whole fight week process, fighter hotel, all that. You do things a little bit different, right? So you're going to be driving out to the fight like you typically do. You get your own place to stay at whenever you get to the location there. So when's that whole process kind of start? Does it happen all on fight week? Do you give yourself a few days just because of the drive and everything?
I'm gonna go out there on the day that I'm supposed to be there. Since it's only a 7-hour drive, I don't have to be out there days before. So I'm gonna probably leave a little early on Tuesday, and I'll get there before it's too late. Because they recommend us being there, I guess, before 6 or 6:30 or something like that, just to kind of check in with the hotel, and do whatever it is that they need us to do. And so that's what I'm going to do for this fight. I'm going to be leaving here Tuesday morning, get checked in, and then I'm going to head over to my Airbnb, like you said, and I'm going to get nice and cozy, and I'll start my weight cut or whatever.
And I know for a lot of fighters too, they usually like with the whole flight process, sometimes they get annoyed because there's the training session that get missed somewhere. Are you worried with anything with that? Is that like a whole off day for you that day with the travel since you drive, or not really?
Yeah, I do worry about that. So I'm gonna probably try to at least get like a good hard 2-mile run in before I leave. Maybe I'll wake up, I'll run, I'll hit the bag because luckily I have all that here in my gym. And then I'll feel okay about getting into the vehicle and driving 7 hours, and then I'll probably finish up with something, the end of the day on Tuesday. I'll feel good about capping that day off. But I really hate you. I like to focus on my weight. I like to, just kind of focus on the fight. I don't really like all these other distractions. And I guess there's a lot of fighters that enjoy all that stuff, but I actually prefer not to have to be so, high up on the card to where I have to do all that media stuff. But if I am, then it's just, you got to do it. But yeah, and that's part of the process. You gotta enjoy it, enjoy the journey. But I just like to be focused. That's all.
Those damn media members and their damn questions bothering you there all the time. I'm sorry for being part of that. Could be aggravation. I won't be there on fight week though, so don't worry. I promise I won't aggravate you on a fight week there. But speaking of with the whole media rounds and everything, I'm sure this is going to be something that's going to be brought up, and I don't know if this is something that you kind of just put behind you because you're so used to fighting now, or if it is something that you think about just being a human being and there being outside noise. But obviously, whenever anybody fights Maycee Barber, the big conversation comes up is because she's young and she's up and coming, and at one time was considered somebody that might give John Jones's record a run for its money there. But still, she's viewed as somebody who is a up and coming future champion in the sport, and so many people have her, pegged so high. Do you pay attention to any of that stuff when you're coming into a fight?
Not really.
Or are you peeking or no?
I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to that. I feel like, they say that about, everyone that they're trying to hype up. They said that about me, and I was there. I was very close, and I'm still working on that. So I think that any one of us can be the future champ. Alexa Grasso just proved that. And so, I think it just, depends on, if you're training as hard as you should be, and you're putting in the work and you're getting better and you're improving. And then, as long as you show up, the fight or not, you're the better fighter, get your hand raised. I mean, anything could happen in a fight. So, I don't really pay too much mind to who's the underdog and who's the favorite. So it doesn't matter to me. I actually don't mind being overlooked. So.
Well, I was gonna say, like, just the human element of everything. Is there any sort of joy, like, to playing a spoiler to any degree, or is it just as long as you get the win, you're happy no matter what?
Oh, well, for sure. That's why it's like I don't mind being the underdog because you as the underdog you go in there and then you get your hand raised and then it's like so even more satisfying because nobody expected you to win. So.
All right, so you come into this fight, you're ranked at number 11. I believe she's ranked 13th. Both of you guys in a great position with the win here. Just want to get your take just on the year, on the outlook. I know you mentioned before you want to keep climbing the ladder here. What's kind of the goals for this year here? Is there a certain number of fights you want to get in or a certain position you want to get yourself into in the rankings or anything like that?
Man, I hope that I can at least get like 3 fights in. So, I mean, I'd like to fight her, which is this is March. So, um, I guess I would like to fight again in June, and I mean, I guess we'll see. I would like to get a couple of fights in, at least 2 or 3 more fights. So, or I guess 3 fights. Yeah.
All right, so we'll be talking quite a bit then this year, it sounds like, which I'm looking forward to. Let's talk now about a few other things, though. You had mentioned before, right, about Alexa Grasso beating Valentina recently. I just want to get your takes on that there because it's in your division, number one. So I guess let's just start right there. Just that upset there that night, obviously shocked the world. Alexa Grasso did. A lot of people did not see that one coming. Just your thoughts on her performance and what it's like having a new champ there.
Great performance by Alexa. I mean, she stayed tight the entire time, kept her hands up and wasn't ever really didn't ever look discouraged in any kind of way. I mean, I felt like Valentina I think she was winning the rounds, with her takedowns and stuff. But I felt like with Alexa Grasso's movement and staying busy, even when she was on the ground, like she never settled. She fought every second of the round, and I was very impressed. I thought that Alexa had a shot from the beginning going in, but honestly, I still believe that Valentina, if it went like every single round, I felt like Valentina was gonna win the fight. So it was still a surprise to me. And I'm happy for Alexa. I like Alexa a lot. I think she's a phenomenal fighter. And plus she's a really sweet person. I think she's deserving and she's a good champion.
So one of the things too that I found pretty interesting with the win there was I almost feel, and I could even be included in this category, I guess as a media member too, but I feel like this division, I don't want to say they didn't have the respect, but I felt there was people didn't feel that it was a very deep division, if that's fair. And that could be, I guess, credit to Valentina just being as good as she was for a long time. But now all of a sudden,
Right.
like you have a new champion. Talia gave Valentina a good fight, lost a split decision. Marion's up there. Aaron Blanchfield's looked good as of late. Look, we talked just about you and Maycee before, right? And you guys were ranked 11th and 13th. All of a sudden, it's like, man, this division's actually really good and very, very deep. Do you feel the same way about this division, that it may have been overlooked for a little bit of time there?
I didn't realize that we were being overlooked so much. I mean, I feel like all the female fighters, in the flyweight division are all very tough and very talented. And every time that we step in the cage, they all put on a show. I guess as far as it looking like nobody could beat Valentina, I can understand that, I mean, because Valentina, she was on a, 9 fight win streak or something like that and defending her title. And, she was making it look easy. But, I mean, on any given day, any one of us could step up and, and shine. I think it just depends on if it's your night or not. And I feel like that was definitely Alexa's night for sure. Valentina also didn't look 100% the same. You know what I mean? I don't know. Something seemed a little off. I don't know. something seems slightly off to me. But if they do rematch, I think obviously Valentina deserves a rematch, and I don't necessarily agree with DC's statement. I can't remember what he said word for word, but it did sound like, he was saying that like Valentina, she's the former champion, deserves a rematch, but he thinks that she should reevaluate like stepping back in the cage or something like that. He doesn't think that Valentina would be able to beat Alexa, or Alexa would give her a hard time, something like that. I can't remember. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to. Okay, good.
I was gonna say I didn't see the whole entire thing either. I did catch like the headline of it or whatever, so I don't want to put words in his mouth
I'm
or butcher
butchering
any
it.
of that
Yeah, I know.
there
I'm totally
either. But I mean it was funny actually. I feel the same like you, that she absolutely does deserve the automatic rematch. As a matter of fact, that night, like I kind of like sarcastically go to my dad as soon as the fight was over, I go, "Oh, she's not going to get an automatic rematch, is she?" Joking around, because yes, she should get the automatic rematch. She's a dominant champ for a long time. It makes sense to me that if she wants that rematch, it's right there for her. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, I do, and I think that I think Valentina. I mean, I think she'll come even harder next time. I think maybe she was underestimating Alexa Grasso, and maybe that's why she was able to get beaten. Who knows? We'll see.
It should be interesting to see how things play out and even see how she responds to it. And the thing that people don't realize too is like, you guys are human beings too. I don't think people realize that. Like, you guys have outside factors coming into fights with just the physical toll of the sport, but I mean mentally as well. You guys all have lives and everything else. I mean, a lot goes into it. I mean, who knows? She could have herself had something going on in her personal life that may have affected the performance. We don't know. I'm sure we'll get the answers to a lot of those questions though in the future here, but. Yeah. Anyway, I did want to ask you, I guess, a few outside the cage type questions here. I guess the first one is still related to the sport. I saw you were doing a little broadcasting pretty recently, right? There are some regional shows going on, and you were part of the broadcast team. What was that whole experience like?
I've done that once.
Okay, just one time?
So far, just one time, and it was yeah. I mean, it was fun. I did okay. No, I guess it was twice. I guess it was twice. Yeah. So I did commentating for this one show, from around here, and I did that with my friend Victoria, who I train with. She and I,
and she's awesome, by the way. She's amazing.
Yeah.
I got to interview her last year. She's a really cool lady.
Yeah, and she speaks very well, and she was very comfortable doing it, and so I think that helped me out a lot. So we were able to feed off of each other. And then I also got to interview, some fighters in the cage on another card, AKA actually. And yeah, I was nervous. It showed, I'm sure. It's definitely not something that I do on a regular basis. So, it's like I can step in the cage and I can fight in front of a bunch of people, but it's like if I got to get up there or talk in front of people, I don't do so well. So it was a new experience. I guess it's just something that I got to try to continue to get comfortable with. Maybe I can do something there. I just got to get better at it.
All right, so you could definitely, I'm sure, help me out with this here. I always tell people, and this usually is a conversation that people have during a sporting event when you're in a bar and people are a little tuned up and they like to complain about either the play-by-play guy in a sporting event or the guy doing the color commentary and how they could do a better job than. And I always tell them, no, you can't. Here, go ahead. You're so good at the job. You're sitting right here. You're watching the sport. Go ahead. Go ahead. Do the job for them then if you're so good at it. And obviously they immediately fold and they can't do it. It's very tough to call something in live time, get the perfect thing down to say. I mean, all the people that are doing at the highest of highest levels, I'm sure you have a great deal of respect for now, just that you were a part of a broadcast team and seeing everything in its works.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I already had, a whole lot of respect for anybody that can do that. And, it's not easy to do. Like you said, in live time, you gotta be witty, you gotta be quick, you gotta know exactly what's going on. And even if I know exactly what's going on, my mind's still like 5 seconds behind, I feel like, as far as like getting the words out of my mouth. But it's like, you gotta be on point because, by the time that you finally spit it out, they're already like 30 seconds ahead, and you got to be calling what's going on at that moment. And it's very difficult. And that's why I get so nervous about it. But a lot of respect for commentators and everyone who can do that.
All right, so now just to wrap things up here, right now I'm watching Stranger Things on Netflix. I'm actually coming up on the season 4 finale, so the last episode that's on Netflix. Did you watch Stranger Things by any chance before I go further with
Did.
this?
Did. I
Okay,
love
so
Stranger Things.
I'm sure you could definitely relate to what I'm going to get to here. Every time I hear KGB, meaning obviously the Soviet, the
Okay.
military defense, everything, I immediately think of you, and it's so funny that the timing of me watching this, us doing this interview is here.
That's
But
funny.
did you kind of get a little chuckle out of it whenever you heard it watching it?
Well, every time I hear it, yeah, I'm like, ugh, because well, I mean, it's kind of hard not to think about that. But then at the same time, I'm also like, well, I probably need to change my name. Every, everybody's gonna think I'm a communist.
I'm sure they are now after watching Stranger Things. So we'll set the record straight. I know we've talked about this before with the nickname, but just in case there is somebody tuning in for the first time, go ahead and explain the nickname for everybody.
KGB, it means kicking girls' butts.
See that, everybody? She's not
Yeah.
a communist. She likes to kick girls' butts. So there, the
Yes.
record has been set straight now. So anyway, Andrew, thank you again for doing this. I appreciate the time as always. Just last thing before you head out, social media, so people know where to follow you at, any management, or I know sponsorships, you're very good with your social media, posting everything. I don't know if you have any that you have to plug or not, but floor is yours. Take it away.
Well, I just thank my coach, my training partners, Tony, Victoria, Carly, Brent, Chad, everyone who's been helping me out, and also Dr. Prejean, who has helped to sponsor me, and also Rod, a friend. Our friend Rob. I appreciate it. I don't really have any like sponsors, so it's just like personal sponsorships, which of course go a long way. So I really do appreciate that. So thank you guys, and thanks John for having me on.